it's so good to see you guys again, or you guys seeing us. Right? So.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ty coming at you again with another Uni-views video. And I would like to introduce to you guys a dear friend of mine. Matter of fact, he is actually the first person that actually spoke to me as far as UFS, Universal Fighting System. And it wasn't much I saw at the time, and I saw this guy, and I messaged him. He messaged me back. I'm like, oh shoot. Then I found out this guy works for Jasco, or did work for Jasco. Anyways, without going on and rambling, I would like to introduce to you 2019 Player of the Year, Mr. Shane Duckworth. Take a look.
Okay, so I grew up during like the golden age of card games, right? And I played like all the card games that came out because I found a comic book shop. I started with Pokemon, played Yu-Gi-Oh, Raw Deal, I played Magic, all the anime card games like Fullmetal Alchemist, Inuyasha, Bleach, Judo, Duel Masters, Battle Spirits. Like, I played like all the card games growing up. In 2006, that's when UFS came out. At one point, I went to the World Championship in 2007, and I got third place. So I was 16 years old. I'm like, all right, this is my game, you know. I'm standing on a stage with like 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I'm like the youngest dude on stage.
Flexing.
Like, man, this is awesome, you know? Like pretty much the only game that I, you know, really, truly enjoy. So yeah, I played UFS in 2006, that was when it first came out. And I played for 3 years, like when Sabretooth had the game and Fantasy Flight had the game.
Right.
Fantasy Flight dropped the game in 2009. Everyone was like, yeah, the game's done, you know, it's already died once. I remember going on the Fantasy Flight Games forums. There's this dude, his name was Jasco Games, and he posts like, hey guys, I'm thinking about buying the game, you know, we're like, that's not gonna happen. Sure enough, he buys the game, you know, and then he holds Worlds at Gen Con like 3 years in a row. So kind of moved on from UFS because it was dead. I can't play my favorite card game anymore, so I got into video games. And, like, that was when like, the iPod Touch came out, and I got like absorbed into the App Store,
the whole mobile
games. Like, I was absorbed into it, dude. It was like Portals. You like, that's what it is. Like I bought the iPod Touch because the iPod Touch is basically an iPhone without a GPS chip.
Right.
So like I'm sitting here downloading all these apps, and I'm just getting sucked into the phone game, you know, like, to like a digital world or whatever. And a really good buddy of mine, Daniel Hughes, this is a good buddy of mine. He wanted to go to Gen Con 2011 for UFS. Like, hey, listen, this guy Jason bought the game, and you know, I want to play it again. It was really fun. There was only one set that came out between when we stopped and now. It doesn't have any fire cards in it because like we were playing decks built off the fire symbol, and fire was so strong that the first set of Red Horizon doesn't have any fire cards in it. So if you go on like UFS Ultra, go to the first set of Red Horizon, there's no fire cards. We can just play our decks, it's fine. So we went there, and that's when I met like the new blood. I met the Atlanta crew. There was like people from New York. There was like people from all over that I met. Then 2013 happened. This is really important. 2013. So 2 years afterwards, from Gen Con 2011, I didn't play UFS at all. I was at a birthday party, and I got a phone call from Dan Hughes. I got a phone call from him, and he says, "Hey man, you're gonna play on my team for Worlds. I don't care what you say, we're gonna play teams because we already planned on going to Gen Con." He's like, "We're gonna go to Gen Con and we're gonna play UFS. Just playing teams with me because normally at Gen Con there's so much to do, and in the past UFS was like a 4-day event. We played UFS for 4 days, so like we never got to experience Gen Con, right? Yeah, we never got to experience Gen Con for what it was. So we went to Gen Con and I played in teams with him. We got top 4 in teams, and I was like, you know what? I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna play in singles, right? So 2013 Worlds in singles, I was Swiss champ and I got second place. I lost to Jeremy Ray in the finals, and I hadn't played for 2 years. It's like, whoa, like this is. I still have it, you know what I mean? Like I hadn't played 2 years, and this game I really love. I still have it, you know. But, you know, I went back home, there wasn't a play group, so I just kind of stuck to video games and phone games and stuff like that. The beginning of 2014, I was dabbling with some stuff. Let's just say some stuff.
We'll say stuff.
And I was pretty messed up, and I went up to my bed, I put headphones on, I thought about my entire life, and, you know, it goes deeper than this, but basically when I thought about UFS, card game I played, all the tournaments I went to, all the people I met, all the fun I had, the backs of my eyelids became filled with color. And that's when I realized that UFS, this card game, was the only endeavor of mine that brought color to my life. I pretty much dropped everything. I got a job at a cell phone warehouse where I had to keep my phone in my locker. So that like detached me from the phone games. I no longer play phone games. Dude. Right. I won't even touch them. So, you know.
Right. Well, like you said, there's so much more to it. It wasn't just a game. It was like you were safe to say, kind of like a dark place almost. Like,
oh, it was 100%. UFS was like the hand that like brought me back into the light. It's like, hey, come back, play this card game, because like it is a social game. Yeah, I love the physical card games because they're more social. You know, like a digital card game, there's not the same thing. Like I love the shuffling of cards, you know, and the snap.
You just see how he did. You just see how he did
the shuffling of cards. Dude, I love it. I feel powerful and have cards in my hand. Would you rather tap a screen or would you fight cards with your hand?
I'm doing a lot.
Look at your opponent, read your opponent, feed off their energy, understand what they're about. There's a lot you can do in physical card games. After that, after I had like the vision, the rebirth, as you want to call it.
That's a good word.
Yeah, I started playing UFS again. I hit up Phil Tucker, a distributor, like a seller of the game. And I was like, hey man, hook me up with 32 copies of every common and uncommon from the standard set. And it was only 5 sets at the time.
Right.
Those were the Jason sets, the 2 Red Horizon sets, and the King of Fighter sets. And I was like, hit me up with 32 copies. And I also want 1 of every character. The reason why I wanted 32 copies is because that's enough for 8 players, including myself. So I can go to the local comic book shop where no one played UFS. I'm like, hey, listen, here is 4 copies of all the commons and uncommons. These are the best cards in the game, because rares and ultra rares are like, you don't, like, they're spicy, but like all the core cards you need to play the game are commons and uncommons. You know, so it's like, hey, just like here's a playset of everything. Choose a character, play this game with me. You know, so I trained with these 2 my friends. 5-card and Philly cheese. Those are 5-card and Philly cheese. Those are my friends' names.
I remember those names.
Shout outs.
Okay, shout outs.
So yeah, I was playing with them and I was training with them, and then I went to the World Championship with Dan Hughes again.
Yeah.
And Dan Hughes is like, you know what? This is our time. You know? So we teamed up with Matt Childress. He came in at the last second, came in clutch. Perfect teammate. And we teamed and we won the team world championship in 2014. Sick. So like worlds though, I got cardboard. I have like an asset card.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle. Right
I see that in the middle. The little.
So like, yo, that was really good. So, but here's the thing. Here's where it all changed. Before Gen Con, I got a message from AJ Murray. AJ Murray was the graphic designer at the time. Okay. He was the graphic designer for Jasper Games. He hits me up on Facebook. He's like, hey man, Jason is looking for a warehouse manager. See what you can do. You know, you should put in your resume and apply. Right. So I sent him an email with the resume. I'm like, hey man, I currently work in a cell phone warehouse. I'm willing to transfer. I'm willing to move. He answers. And he's like, hey, send me this email after Gen Con, because we're preparing for the World Championship. I was like, okay, so I went to the World Championship, then I won the Team World Championship, and then I sent him the email again, like, hey, it's me. And then on the way back, it was Nathan, AJ, and Jason in the car, and they were talking about who to hire, and AJ's like, you want to hire Shane Duckworth, dude? They saw how positive I was towards the game, like, because I didn't play for years, you know, and then I came back in 2014, and I won the Atlanta Pro Tour, and I was always on the boards, I was always on Facebook talking positive about the game. So I sent him the email, and Jason reviewed it. It was between me and another candidate, and they chose me because I had the passion for the game. I packed my room in my car, and I drove 38 hours to a new life. I was actually working on UFS, but the issue is that I really wanted to play UFS. Playing UFS, the excitement of playing UFS is what brought me back from the dead. Like you said, I was in a dark time and it wasn't that good. So when I did that stuff, I closed my eyes and I was like, well, what in your life do you like? What in your life did you actually care about playing UFS? Like, as pathetic as it sounds, this card game is what I enjoy the most. You know, but that's, you know, it's just what I enjoy. You know? So what makes me happy is playing UFS. Like, I played all the card games, but UFS is really the one that, like, it requires the most stamina, the most thought. It's really thought-provoking. It's really, like, high skill ceiling.
Would you say that UFS/University is a pay-to-win game?
Absolutely not. I don't think so. In this game, it's very like cheap to play because this game has a design philosophy of every single card in the game is good in some kind of deck, right? So it's a very economical game because you don't need to spend a lot of money to play the game in the first place. Like you may have these strong cards, you know, like there could be a card that's like a $50 card, right? But like if you're not playing those symbols,
Yeah.
You don't even need to play the
You don't even need to play the
Like when I first got back into UFS in 2014, there was a period of time I won 5 Pro Tours in a row, and then the Rochester 2K, the first ever Rochester 2K. So I won all these tournaments in a row. The cheapest deck I won with was like a $50 deck. It had no ultra rares in it. It had like a couple promo cards. It was all commons and commons, and it was just like a lot of math. Like, you need to know what was going on in the game, but as long as you manage everything correctly, you can come out on top. Like probably the most expensive deck I won a PPC with was like a $250 deck at the time. Now I only played that because I wanted to play that deck. Like, it was a cool deck to play. This deck's awesome. I want to play it. It really is pick and choose how much you want to spend. You know what I mean? In UFS, there is no meta. In UFS.
There's meta characters or characters that you probably see frequently.
50 or 60 characters that can like take down an event. It's like Smash Brothers, right? You have a whole entire roster. You have a roster of characters. It's like you pick which character you want. And the more you practice with that character, the better you get with that character. A newer player will start with a character, right? And they'll be playing that character for like a week. Then they're like, I'm gonna give up on this deck, right? So they go and they switch to other characters, which is fine. I totally accept that. They go and they play other characters, which is great. You know, extend your horizons, play all these characters. So they play all the characters. Then they go back to the character who they first started with, and now it's like, oh, I see so many things now that I was missing when I was first playing this character. You know, you can never stop learning in this game. Like UFS is the only game where like I never scoop. I never feel like I'm out of the fight until they make like they play their last attack and they pass the check. They like check a 5 to pass the attack, commit to pass it. Then I know I'm dead. Okay, then you got the game. But before that, there's no reason like to scoop at all. You don't need a lot of money to play the game. So there's not this like pay to win mentality. It's like I paid like $400 for my deck. I should be able to win. This is a little sidetrack thing.
It's all in.
I've been uploading videos on YouTube, right? And there's a Vicious deck. I made a budget deck. It was a Vicious deck. It was a $21 deck. And I played against a good friend of mine, Bueno. And his Goro deck. His Goro deck is like $450. It's brutal. Like Fatality, Nutcracker, Ice Dragon, Sensimore, like all these
everything
cards,
like
that are expensive.
Ghost Thief Funeral.
Ghost Thief Funerals.
He had like
it's like a $450 deck. And I wish I streamed this match because I 2-0'd him with my Vicious deck. With a $21 deck, just took down that Goro. That's like, you know, $450.
Go look those daggone cards out. You'll see it. Hitman LegendaryWolfGame.com.
The reason why we play card games is for fun. That's the biggest thing. You want to make sure you're having fun playing card games. I get this all the time. Like, hey, should I play this or this for the upcoming Pro Tour? I'm like, well, these are both good characters. You could win with either of these characters. The big question is, what are you going to have the most fun playing? That's the biggest thing. You know, there is an element that is hidden in card games in general, right? And I have picked up upon this from playing card games pretty much my entire life. That's all I've done with my life is play card games. There is more to winning in a card game tournament than being a good player and playing a good deck. There's more to it. A lot of it is like your energy towards the game, how you feel about the game, how you're feeling on the day of the game. You know, there's a lot of hidden elements in it. You know, and you know, there's just more to winning than playing something busted. You know what I mean? Like, so in general, it's better if you work together. You know? We have a community box here at Legendary Wolf Games. And we have like 3 tournaments a week for UFS. So people come, they win their packs for prizes, and they like give the cards they don't need to the store for the community pile. They're like, hey, listen, put these in the community pile. So what happens is that communities are, you know, and this happens all over the place. It's not just here. That's just an example. Like people. What they'll do is they'll buy boxes because it's pretty much universally agreed upon that buying boxes is the way to go in UFS because you get full value, all the cards are good. It's like, you know, a box is just a good deal, right? So people that when a new set comes out, they buy a player kit or they get like 6 boxes or whatever. They take their 8 cards that they need because like I'm a player, I like to have 8 of every card. It's a first world problem, you know. Like it is because I don't like to switch cards in between decks. I like to have my sets. Like, some cards have like 16 of them, like a common. It's really good. I like to have like 16 of them.
I hear you, bro.
Like people have multiple playsets of these cards, so when they open the packs, they don't need those cards. They give them away, you know. They're like, here, like take these cards. These are good cards. You know, put them in the community pile. It's like a game that keeps on getting back because it's like all the cards are good and you don't need them. So instead of throwing them away, listen, these are good cards. Like take them. You know?
Yeah.
I was talking with an owner of a game store in Las Vegas. He's like, yeah, this one game I threw away like 20,000 cards. Well, why'd you do that? He's like, well, this game prints rares that are just statistically better than commons, so it's like no one ever plays these commons, so I tossed them out. I was like, oh, that sucks, you know? Like, that never really happens in UFS. Like, every card has a purpose. Every card has a home in some kind of deck.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a game where you usually want to have, like, a playset of everything.
Yeah.
Eventually, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you can build whatever you want, because it's cool. There's so much deck building you can do in this game.
Yeah.
Like, because if you think about it, let's just say there's 100 characters in Standard, right? They're all tournament playable. You have at least 3 different ways to build them because they're 3 symbols.
Man.
So that, like, and that's at least 3 ways. Like a
Right.
character could have like air, all, and void or whatever.
Yeah.
Like 3 different ways to play air. 2 different ways to play all. 2 different ways to play. Like 7 different ways to play characters.
Yeah.
So if you have this, that's like hundreds of decks you can play in the game. And that's why there is no meta, that's why it's always fresh. A write-up, not really a write-up, but I wrote down my opponents and the records of the tournament, EDC. I didn't play against the same character twice. Like, except for in the finals where I played the same guy that I played in Swiss, but everybody else was different.
Just even the fact that what was it, Ed and I.
Yeah.
When it was on Ed and I was like, what?
Everyone counted Ed and 9.
Oh my gosh.
The guy who played him, he was even like, this is a C tier character, which I don't believe. I think they're A tier, but like
He has a different mind.
everybody,
He's right.
everyone's like, well, there's like Ed and 9. Whenever people think of like the best characters from Bebop, they think like Spike 1,
Spike 1.
Vicious, you know.
Spike 2 used to be really.
Spike 2 is still good.
I mean,
I think Spike 2.
people still. I agree. I don't disagree.
Spike 2 won Worlds. I don't know why anyone's not on that deck. But yeah, I think Bebop, like all the Bebop characters are great, you know, like Faye and Jet are good, like, but no one thinks of Ed and 9. When Ed and 9 came here, and they got second place.
Second place was
So like, you know, that was good to see, you know, and like, it could be one of those things where it's like whenever a new set comes out, every character just gets better, which is true because Ed and 9 played like Yu Hakusho cards and like the Botan and Sasaki stuff, and Yu Hakusho was playing that stuff. So it's like maybe you just hey, Ed and 9's like good now, yeah, it's great. Dude, like
well,
that
he's not a C. You can't even say he's a C. You know, like necessarily. It's just you just haven't seen people playing it. You know, per se.
Let me go over my tier list, okay? People want to think tier list, right? It can be more in depth, but
I mean, yeah.
There's like 2 characters in like the S tier, right? And they didn't even top 16 at this. Oh, one of them top 16. Raptor. He made top 16, but he got knocked out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He didn't make top 8.
Brutal.
So yeah, like that's like, and then there's like 50 or 60 characters in the A tier.
Yeah.
You know? And the B tier would be like the rest of the characters, but like they can still win tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to work a little harder for it.
You have to work.
You know, like. It's one of those things where it's like if everything is broken, everything is balanced, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the thing about UFS. Everything feels powerful.
Everything,
but that's what card gamers love. They love to feel powerful.
That
you
is
know
true.
I mean?
That is true.
Like, listen, all these characters are great. They're very strong. You play what makes you feel good.
That's dope. And I love that. I love how you just put that, man. Like I said, and I mean, we've been chatting. It's been fun. It's bad. Like, just even being able to stand underneath the same roof and just hanging with y'all, man. Like I said, it's just been phenomenal. Just being able to play with y'all is an event itself. Then the age, like the kind of people that are playing, these aren't just like, I don't want to say weirdos, like what people would like to call weirdos, but these guys are like from businesses. These are guys that are like, you know, mathematicians and lawyers and, you know, like they do a lot of things.
The community for this game is actually like very mixed. Like
very.
If I could like, when I was playing other card games and going to tournaments, it'd be like a different kind of nerd. You know what I mean? Like I'd be playing this other card game, and I go to this like store, and everybody has like waifu playmats and like anime girl sleeves and stuff. Like this is the kind of nerd I'm playing with, you know. And then, but like UFS, it's different. Like they all watch like they're all nerds still, but they're like they watch like WWE. They watch wrestling. You know,
that's true.
Like
that's true.
They're it's like a different kind of breed of nerd. You know what I mean?
It's like
What's a nerd?
everybody.
It's just like what kind of nerd are you?
Yeah, what
right?
kind of nerd? Are you?
So yeah,
just,
like
it's a different type of nerd.
Yeah. And you still get those people in this game who play with the waifu sleeves and the waifu playmat and stuff like that.
You like?
Yeah.
I didn't say it. I was gonna say what you said. Like that.
Yeah. There's still those people here, but it's like you know, but it's just a mix.
It's a
mix. It's a mix of all the nerds, you know, because they play the game and like, yeah, this game's tight, you know. So it's just all walks of life. So like, whenever like a new flavor comes out, everyone's into this thing. Like currently, it's like My Hero Academia. That was the thing, you know.
Yeah.
So UFS, you should ride the wave.
Right.
Get the license for like a set or two.
Yeah.
Print the stuff. The anime nerds all buy it.
Right.
So they all have My Hero cards.
Right.
And then now it's like once that flavor of the month or whatever you want to call it is over, something new comes out. All right, UFS, get the license, print it out, everyone gets it. Like previously in the past, it was just like, we're going to do fighting games only, you know? When Jason picked up the game, Jasso Games, and he like started acquiring the licenses for it, he had fighting games, but then he got Mega Man, which is like a side scroller, you know what I mean? And then he got Cowboy Bebop. That was the first time anime was ever introduced into UFS. Now it's like My Hero. So it became
Yu too, right?
Yu Hakusho. It was another anime. So now it's like it was becoming steps closer to a complete universal fighting system.
Right. I get it. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, it's still interesting because it's almost like, honestly, even with the animes, they all still have a fighting game.
Oh, sure, of course.
Every last one of them. Like,
well, I remember working on Bebop. So Bebop doesn't have a lot of action scenes in it, right?
Right.
It's a lot of storytelling.
It's a lot of story.
And there's not that many action scenes.
Right.
So the issue with Bebop was there wasn't many frames or whatever we could take for the attacks.
Yeah.
So the attacks were kind of hard to get.
Right.
So like Yu Yu Hakusho fits perfectly because it's a fight. Every episode there's like a punch being thrown or like, you know, it is a fighting anime, you know. Like there's a couple other animes that work too. That's why My Hero works so well.
Right.
Because it is a fighting anime.
It's so, the game is so interactive. I feel like we're talking everywhere, but
that's the best part about it.
It just, there is no, I'm just gonna wait until you're done.
Oh yeah,
like
you can do so,
I mean, the only way you're waiting until somebody's done is if you committed out or did something to make it to where you can't do something. But
you're only not in the game if you choose not to be in the game. You can do just as much stuff on your opponent's turn as your own turn. You can do more on your opponent's turn if you want to than your own turn.
That's true.
Or like you can have a reversal deck that just builds 4 foundations on its turn. You attack me, block, reversal, do all this crazy stuff. Alright, send it in. You know, you can only attack on their turn if you really want to. So yeah, like on my turn, if I'm playing a reversal deck, my turn's like 5 seconds, you know? Your turn, I'm playing my turn on your, you know, so you can do, there's many different angles in the game that you can do. So, like, you need a lot of mental stamina to play the game.
Yes, and that's what I mean, what I meant by not like what you just said, the stamina, like, you're doing so much with your brain. I was challenged today. I was really, like, put to the test. Like,
like a big part of the game is the ability to adapt to the opponent, right? That's the same thing that makes human beings like as awesome as they are. The ability to adapt is why the human race is so awesome. You know? So like, and that is reflective of the game as well. When you're playing the game, having the ability to adapt to your opponent, having like being given the options, being given the ability to. Because the other card games don't. It's like you do this, and you do this, right? But like in UFS, there's enhances. That it's always back and forth. There's always a response window to everything. You trade enhances. So like there's just so much you can do in the game. And like the sequencing is really important as well because you each take turns. We each take turns back and forth playing enhances. So like my enhance is pretty important before you get enhanced because maybe I can play enhance that shuts off your enhance and then goes back to me. So like there's, you know, the sequencing is important and like I said, the ability to adapt.
I love it.
Give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead. He's got him stuff. Yeah, he's got to go. I don't know what he got to do, but the fact that
What would you do 5 seconds?
He wasn't right. He wasn't lying. Yo,
So I'm in the middle.
You see that in the middle? This guy, see the hair? You see the hair? That's him. Look, telling you, the joint is so dope. Like, what's the process as far as when they make the cards for you? Like,
so when you win a championship, like a nationals or worlds, like it's like a major event, you know. You actually become immortalized in the game. That's one of the things.
I love how you just put that.
It's what it is.
So dope.
You become immortalized in the game, and you become a playable part of the game. So you can play the game,
right,
and win. And when you win, like a championship or whatever, you get to give back to the game. You can create an ability that you would like, want to see in the game.
Right.
And you know you can leave your mark on the game when you win like a high level event. You know,
that's phenomenal, man. That's like it tripped me out when I found that. I was like, what? You could do what? is when you go into a tournament and somebody's playing as you. Like,
I have a friend, his name is Chris Pratt, too. He was playing in the finals and he had this card on the table. It was like I was helping him win.
That's
him.
you see what I mean? Like, but I love how you put that immortalized into the game like that. Just how you put that is just so phenomenal. Just that's so cool.
So little segue here. Most card games have a lifespan of 2 to 5 years, and this game's been out for 13, almost 14 years now.
Boom. So
like,
there you go. Yeah, I thought that game was dead. da da da. Yeah.
Well, like not many card games can say they've been around for like over
over a decade.
Yeah. They can't really say that. So like it's just the average lifespan of a card game. Like we've seen a bunch of card games come and go, you know, and it's just the same like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, like the big three, just because they've always been there. Every other card game is kind of like here and there, you know. They don't. You know, I've seen a lot rise and fall. And UFS has been one that has been around for, like I said, almost 14 years now. So that's another reason why it's safe to invest in this game.
Yeah,
because like you know it's gonna be around.
There's something that I realized that a lot of new players that come from other games do. They keep comparing it to other games, and I get that in this realm because you're thinking, oh, it's a card game, so they're all. If you played one, you played them all.
Yeah, this game's a different beast. And it's like when you focus a lot on one card game, you're trained to like believe like you know what you're taught in that game. But like in UFS, for example, you know, I'm just gonna segue again. Other games, you want to play like the bare minimum, like 60 cards. Yeah. Because you draw one card a turn and you need to maximize your draw. Yeah. In UFS, this game, it's like you can play like 70, 80 cards and still do well. The World Championship was won twice in a row by a deck that was 80 cards. 80 card deck won Worlds twice in a row. So like what it comes down to is that your character has a hand size, you draw so many cards per turn, every move you make, you check the top card of your deck, you discover more information about what's in your deck. So you see a lot of your deck throughout the course of a turn. Yeah. So like by putting more options in your deck, you are equipping your deck to deal with a wide variety of matchups. Yeah. So because the sideboard's only 8 cards, right? Yeah. So it's like that's mainly used for like the rogue matches. But if you equip your deck, if you put more cards in your deck, you just have the options to deal with most matchups. Yeah. So the more cards you put in the deck, usually the better. It's really hard to run a collectible card game in the world we live in right now. Yeah. Right. Because everything is digital. The video games, like it's oversaturated, like the big video game stuff. Yeah. Everybody has a phone. The newest systems are cheap. So it's like entertainment is pretty easy and relatively cheap. You can turn on your phone and watch like the videos on YouTube all the time. A card game. A lot of times what I hear is people, they're playing card games and then they're like, they see UFS, for example. They're like, hey, is this a collectible card game? And like, well, yes, there's booster packs, starter decks, all that. I'm like, oh, I can't do that again. And it's like, because they were burned in the past by like other card games that are way too expensive. Right. And it's like, just give this game a shot. Give this game a chance. Like, it's not as expensive as you might think. Right. Owning like every card is nice, but you don't need it. If you just want to have fun, you don't need to spend a lot of money to have fun with the game. You're supposed to play games to have fun. That's the biggest thing. So like, if you're not playing a card game for fun, then what are you playing it for? People would come up to me like, hey man, listen, like, I'm not feeling UFS. I just don't feel like playing. Right. And they'd come to me for advice. I'm like, don't play then, dude. and they'd be shocked. They'd be like, you work for the company. Aren't you supposed to like convince me? I'm like, well, no. Like, if you're not having fun with the game, why are you playing? There's nothing telling you that you need to play this one game. You need to have this hobby. Nothing is telling you that. So like, that gets me the most. They like, it's not having fun with the game, and they keep playing, and they keep playing. Listen, like, stop. If you don't have fun, why are you doing it? There was a time after I left Jackson Games, I came here to Legendary Wolf Games, and I was offering me a job, and I was working here. And there was a period of time where after I won the turbo card, so I won the turbo event, they gave me a turbo card.
He did win a car.
I won a turbocharged sports car for playing card games. Yeah. Another reason why UFS prize is nuts, dude. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, after I won that car, there was this rut where it's like, I won the car, then like Soul Calibur 6 came out, and the World Championship was happening, and I didn't feel comfortable with any deck. And then the 7th Cross set came out, and I wasn't feeling anything there either. And so I just kind of took a break, you know. I was playing other card games, and then when Yu Yu Hakusho came out, we were like, oh, this stuff's fun, you know? And then I was all back in, dude. Our community leader has been practicing that character. He's been practicing him for so long. And he's always wanted the top cut, right? And he finally got it this weekend. He top cut with his character Yusuke.
Congratulations, Mr. Kevin Blake, man. That's awesome.
Not only did he top 16, he top 8.
Kevin's cool, man, because when it happened, me and Kevin looked at each other like, and I was trying not to look at him because I'm like, yo, oh my God, you could so kill him like that. I wish I could have just said it in my brain, like, bro, just swing it. And he knew, he hesitated and he passed her, and I was like, no. And he looked at me when he lost the fight. He looked at me, he was like, bro. I said, yeah, bro. You should have said it. I mean, thank you once again, Mr. Shane Duckworth, for coming on. Like I said, guys, make sure y'all, if y'all have questions or comments, you got that message, you can put it in the bottom or whatever. You can Facebook message me, you can Facebook message him. Is that okay? You know, he's fine. If you got questions about the game, question about the decks. Look, y'all might think you might be just chilling, man. Look, this guy's a clown, okay? I got jokes. He got jokes. If you just get to see him in person, probably the best. It's better. He likes to interact like this. So, like I said, funny guy. Love this guy, man. Appreciate you, bro. Anyways, love you all. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. Peace.